On this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, we talk Detroit Lions winning their first playoff game.
Woo! Jared Goff.
At 32 years. We also talk our 2023 predictions and make our 2024 predictions. I talk a little bit about my trip to CES, Consumer Electronics Show. All that and more on the first episode of 2024 on That Kingsville Podcast.
First one to feature robots.
Robot podcast. Maybe we'd be replaced. I think we'd get more listeners. Hey, did you guys see those two robots doing the podcast? Those three robots, those two podcasts, those two robots and Dave doing the podcast. Yeah, I'm not giving it up. All right.
Been called worse.
Stay tuned.
Say the same thing.
That Kingsville Podcast proudly brought to you by Kingsville Brewery. Dive into a world of flavor without the alcohol. Whether it is dry January, so knock yourself out. Whether you're a hop enthusiast or just looking for a unique twist, Hop 2.0 is a must-try. Sip, savor, and sparkle your way through dry January like never before. Order online today, free shipping for residents of Windsor, Essex County. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for supporting That Kingsville Podcast. Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. I'm your host, Dave. With me, how many episodes are we in? It's season 4, guys. Kevin, Steve, welcome back to the show. 2024, guys. First episode of the new year. Happy New Year.
And aren't we jacked?
Oh, we are. Listen, this is not an evergreen topic, but it will be forever for any Lions fan, Kevin. Yeah. Last night, the Detroit Lions won their first playoff game in 32 years, and they did it at Ford Field in Detroit. And I'm still, I can't even process it. It's so wildly untypical. Like, it's insane.
And I texted you right before kickoff just to say I'm so excited, like a little kid, right? And then I put my phone away. Like It was just like, and then I picked it up because I'm like, what are people saying about this call? What are people saying about this or whatever? And that was it. I didn't text anyone else or anything like that. And even when it was done, I was just like, no, I'm just gonna savor this and enjoy this.
Yeah. I don't know, Kev. Any conversation? Any feelings? You went out and celebrated.
Yeah, I was at the Grove.
Yeah.
It was. There was a few people out.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So for me, it's a little different because I'm not a lifelong Lions fan. Like I follow them. I'm happy when they win. I don't root against them.
Yeah, there was no emotional connection at one point in time in your life.
No, and right. I feel like it's almost, and that's why I'm not wearing Lions gear, because I don't own any, because I feel like I'd be a fraud if I was wearing the logo today.
Listen, no,
I don't like. The bandwagon.
Yeah, but I guess I look at it too as like Dave was a season ticket holder for a number of years, and I guess I feel maybe a little bit less of a fan because I was never a season ticket holder. I've only ever been to 2 games in my life. But by the same token, I'm not going to hold back. Like, if you join in the celebrations, like even if you're not, if you were like had a strong allegiance to another NFL team, maybe you do. I don't know.
Not really.
Okay. If you did, then maybe it's different. But in this, just come on, join the bandwagon, jump, like look at the party. I mean,
don't get me wrong. Very happy. Very happy.
We just want you to join us in the celebrations.
I watched the game to the end. I was happy when they won, but it hits different when it's like, if the day ever comes in my lifetime where the Leafs win a Stanley Cup, that will feel different, and it will. I feel like for me, that when I get to like fully celebrate, but I can't fully celebrate as much as someone who's waited 50 years or someone who's waited 56 years.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. And so I cut you off.
No,
because of all the episodes that I shouldn't be cutting Lions fans off.
You didn't cut me off though, because I'm looking to you obviously for.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like this region, football fans, and I know Michigan's little 50-50. I feel like on this side of the border, it's more blue than it is green.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but this past 7 days of football, relish it.
Oh
yes. Well, and it's interesting because, and I'm going to name drop, but there's a few things that happened during the day yesterday and even today that make you feel even more excited, and just you see the excitement. So my kids were at a swim meet yesterday, and beside me were Lisa and Adam Edwards. And
big, huge Lion fans.
right. So they have season tickets, and they,
I tailgated with them.
Okay, so they moved that into the playoffs or whatever. They got the playoff package. So Adam shows up, and now the Aquatic Center in Windsor is warm. It is a very hot place to sit in the stands, and he's got his lion
headgear.
Yeah, exacexacly. And Lisa's got her chain and everything like that.
Awesome.
And they were going over to tailgate, so that was part of it too, right? The excitement was building. There was another parent sitting right in front of us in her Packers hoodie and Packers toque, but you know what? That's okay. I enjoyed that almost as much in some respects. But anyway.
Hey, they took care of those dirty Cowboys
exactly.
for us. Oh, they know.
So then I look on social media last night, and I see a couple of guys who I coached in soccer a few years ago, and they're at the game, and they, like one guy said, minus whatever, and I'm willing to die for this team kind of thing, right? That shows the excitement. And then today, even, Rob Hinchcliffe posting on the app formerly known as Twitter, because I don't like calling it what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, and just he was there with his sons and his dad, and the look of just genuine, sincere excitement on people's faces, and it showed other people we've never met before, grown men in tears. Yeah, like it just the heartache and the struggle and everything coming.
Yeah,
to the forefront.
Right, and you actually get to cash in on what the rest of the NFL, for the most part, gets to have on a fairly regular basis. Like the Browns, the Lions, and a couple other franchises have extended streaks of just losing seasons where you think you've got everything all put together, and then all of a sudden the wheels fall off, and everybody it's the same losing season where you think you're going to draft well, and there's signs, and yes, new season, we're going to do it this year, and then something happens, and this season it just didn't happen for the Lions. Everything is going the way that it got forecast and predicted. Thanks. Yes, knock on wood.
And the thing is we now have another home game.
I know, which is wild because of the Green Bay Packers taking out the Dallas Cowboys. They took out the number 2 seed,
and they are scary right now.
Yeah, they're a
scary
might be the
team. Scariest, like.
So we'll get to this for predictions, but San Francisco is also somebody on my radar. Like they're a powerhouse.
I don't know.
We'll go to.
Yeah, predictions later. Stay tuned for predictions.
I just want to add one more thing, because it was completely overshadowed, but the Lions weren't the only professional sports team from Detroit to win last night. We will note that the Wings did pull off a victory down the 401. So, good for them.
Did you hear about their day yesterday, the Wings day yesterday?
I know they spent a lot of time at an airport.
They got to the rink at 6 p.m. and then beat the Leafs. Like that, they should have been there hours earlier. They literally showed up while warm-ups are starting.
Wow.
And then throw on their gear, go out for warm-ups, and then beat them. It was.
So
that's one of those legendary wins. The Leafs have a few of those, right? Remember when
the Zamboni driver?
The Zamboni driver, and this one's going to be one of those too.
So since we're just on the topic of sports, if I may, you are our Leafs go-to guy. I did see a little bit of chatter today that Sheldon Keefe is not the guy, and this, that, or whatever. Where are you at with Keefe and
he
and
hasn't
this team?
been the guy for years.
Okay,
I don't know why it would change now. It hasn't. I don't see the loss yesterday as moving the needle on Sheldon Keefe
or the breaking point.
Yeah, I don't think it's that, because the Leafs played okay. They just got outplayed in the third, but that's kind of the MO. Sheldon Keefe is that coach. He's not a good coach. He hasn't been a good coach for most of his tenure with the Leafs, and they've extended his contract, so they're fine with him not being a good coach. It's just.
I heard there was this Babcock guy who might be available.
Oh my goodness! I don't
call him back?
I don't even know if he can coach Pee Wee.
So,
but before we move on from football, because
I want to go back to football, because I do want to get Dave's take on all this as a former season ticket holder.
Did you guys watch any of the Green Bay Dallas game?
Quite a bit.
I watched the last half.
That pass interference on the 2-point play. What karmic validation?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 1,000%. It was oh, wait a minute. I remember a time when we got screwed.
Yeah, and the call was that one was a 50-50 where you could kind of see, but then you can tell McCarthy's thinking what happened to Campbell when he decided to continuously go for it.
Right.
And he's like, nope, no way. I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm going to put the field goal unit out right now. And then he doinks.
Yeah.
Like, how fantastic.
Yep.
The only way it would have been better is if it came down to those 2 points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like a tight neck game. Like the Dallas-Detroit game in the regular season.
Right.
So, yeah, it's Steve, being a season ticket holder, it was one of those things, like, it was a large group of friends, and we all went to school together, or we all were associated some way. And back when we got tickets, it was shortly after the 0-16 season, so it was, fairly affordable. We didn't have as many family commitments, and there was a large group of us. And we had so much fun just, experiencing what it's like to be a part of that franchise. Now, I'm incredibly lucky because I got to take advantage of a couple of other things as a part of the Detroit Lions franchise. So my brother-in-law and I participated for the Detroit Lions in the NFL draft. And we were the official fans in 2014 at the draft in New York City. So, I've got yet another kind of connection to that franchise. Mind you, it's withered away, and
sure, but there are layers there for
right. Like
you did meet Barry Sanders.
Yeah, I cried my eyes out.
I know
meeting Barry
Sanders, but I wanted you to tell that story.
I cried.
But
so
you met him. That's
right.
incredible.
This was the first year that the NFL had kind of taken the draft and elevated its relevancy as an entertainment, show or event.
Yeah.
Because before it used to just be held in Radio City Music Hall, and locals would show up and you had to be on NFL Network and ESPN, and it wasn't really a big thing. But this is the first year that they decided that they were going to send official fans from every franchise to attend. And I was the official Detroit fan, and what I got to do was bring the jersey out for the number 1 draft pick on stage at Radio City. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I knew that Barry Sanders had an agreement with the NFL and with Madden Football, and he would present the jersey to the number 1 draft pick. So usually you hand the jersey to Roger Goodell. Goodell does the thing, the pictures, and here's the jersey, and does the hug and whatever. I brought it to Barry Sanders, and Goodell's on stage. And when I realized the gravity of what was happening, because I watched Barry growing up as a kid, right? Like that, when I knew what football was and started watching it and being a fan and building like that kind of relationship with the team and that emotion into the team. And then it just spilled over all in one. And, Barry was really cordial. He was concerned with whether or not I was okay. And yeah, of course, like there's NFL cameras in my face and whatever, but it was great. So yeah, to me, being such a committed fan, I'm not the most knowledgeable fan, but there's that extra kind of connection. And I feel great that finally, after all the acquisitions, all the moves, all the prospectus, all the, hope and whatnot, that there's been positivity in that direction where, like I said earlier, we get to celebrate like most of the rest of the NFL has.
Well, after 15 years, Stafford finally brought a playoff win home.
Isn't that
well,
great?
You know what, though? It's interesting you mention it because the only disappointing thing, and I don't want to harp on it too much, but I was disappointed that he got booed because at the end of the day, I'll say this, the Lions aren't in the position they're in right now without him.
No, not at all. Because
he wanted out. He requested to leave. The draft capital in return, plus Goff, plus then the trades that Brad Holmes made via some of those draft capital have put them in the position. So,
and Dan Campbell building Jared Goff back up to be a quarterback that can perform.
And you wonder how much guilt McVay had based on McVay's comments afterwards. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's all speculative, but
sure.
Regardless. And then, we got to kind of segue slightly. Michigan football won the national championship a week prior, right? Like last Monday. Was it last Monday? It was last Monday.
Yeah, last Monday.
Right. So exactly your point. This has been a wild week of Detroit sports, and it's continuing. So
it's honest. They showed a picture of a young kid. It looked like he's probably about 6 or 7. in the stands at the Lions game after the win, and he's got a Michigan hat on, and the comment was, this fan will never understand what it's like to be a Detroit sports fan.
Never.
Yeah.
You'll never go through the heartache.
Yeah.
Right?
Hopefully.
Unless he was a Piston and a Tiger fan.
Right.
When the Pistons can't get out of their own way.
Oh.
Note to self, don't pick the Pistons to win the NBA Finals, okay?
Don't pick the Pistons to be able to inbound the ball without going out of bounds.
Oh my gosh. I know not a lot of people. Just Google or like Detroit Pistons inbound. It's hilarious.
Like,
so. Yeah.
They wouldn't do that in elementary school basketball. Just the worst.
Strange.
It's so bad.
Stranger things have happened.
You know, they beat the Raptors, and I'm a Raptors fan. It does kind of sting up my soul a bit, but they beat them.
Yeah,
the night of the trade when
Right.
half of their team was traded away and couldn't play.
Right. Didn't they call D-League people up to
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they basically beat the Raptors 905. and then now they haven't won a game since.
Oh no.
No, they even lost to the Spurs.
Yeah.
It was them and the Spurs kind of having a battle for the worst team in the NBA. And
Hey,
the Pistons, didn't it? Was that the game they had they've had a few huge leads, but there was one game recently too. They were up big early and then
they fall apart in the second half every time.
Boy.
Yeah, I think they're 3-29 or
30,
34
or maybe even more now. Yeah.
36.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
they
they
lost 26 in a row.
Yeah.
So remember, they won their first two games.
Mm-hmm.
So then they've gone 1 and 30 whatever.
Well, and it's interesting. There's a former Kingsville resident, Duncan Smith, who covers the NBA. And he's after each loss, he updates their record over the past however many games, what the winning percentage is, and what it would be over an 82 game season. So it's yeah.
Well, you can't. Not everything can be firing on all cylinders, right? You can't have 4 franchises in like the last time.
Why not? We've had 4 that are terrible.
Well, sure, but I think
recently
everything could miss
2 years ago.
I think the only city that had all 4 franchises, for cities that have all 4 franchises, was Boston, right? Didn't the Celtics won, the Red Sox won?
Oh, you're talking winning. Sorry,
We're having all 4 franchises have winning seasons.
Yeah.
The Patriots.
Was that? Did the Celtics win that year?
I want to say they did.
No, I think they didn't have all 4 winning.
They were
close.
They were close.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Celtics.
I don't know that anyone's ever held. One city's held all 4 major championship.
I think the Bruins.
Yeah, the Bruins.
Yeah, I don't know. Regardless.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But it's what an insane week, and it continues. By the time people see this, they'll know who Detroit's playing in the playoff game on Sunday. We don't know yet.
No, well, actually, we don't know the Buffalo and Pittsburgh game yet. And
it was 21-10 when I left the house. Yeah,
it was like, we gotta go record, but
yeah.
I think the Lions
31-17 with 6.5 minutes to go right now.
Are they still digging out the stadium in Buffalo?
I think they're good now.
They were. There was chatter on the app formerly known as Twitter about complaining because they were saying the Bills were soft and they were purposely postponing the game. Yeah, purposely delaying the game. So then the Bills posted a video of the field and it looked like the Arctic tundra.
Yeah,
it was
soft.
There was snow blowing everywhere. You could see the 60, 70 kilometer an hour wind gusts coming into the stadium and just blowing snow everywhere. It looked like the North Pole.
And, Buffalo's getting a new stadium within the next 2 years. And, common sense would say, because Buffalo's had to move games on the regular for the past few seasons. Detroit's hosted a couple. Cleveland, I believe, hosted one. You would think that the new stadium might have a roof on it to, basically prevent. No, not a chance. No, they are going with an open air yet again.
Ruins the experience of being a Bills fan.
It's part of it. It's part of the experience of being a Bills
exactly.
fan.
Okay, but fine. Sure, we want to go that far. Get a retracting roof.
That's
stadium.
what I mean. Sorry, the roof would ruin the experience. That's what I was getting at.
Okay. Yeah. So, but hear me out, right? Like the Sky Dome was probably the first largest venue with a retractable roof.
Retractable, yeah.
Right. So it was the first, and then other subsequent stadiums around the nation were built. why doesn't Buffalo build a retractable roof stadium so that, hey, if it's not snowing in the wintertime, it can be open air? But crazy things are happening and there's lake effect snow coming. We're going to close this sucker so we can still play football.
I'd say temperature. I mean, you got to think the Rogers Center, or what is it now? Is it
Rogers Center?
Yeah.
They only open the roof when it's nice and warm, right? They're not opening it in April, early May, usually October.
Yeah, but if you're talking that the experience in Buffalo is to have it open air in the
all
cold.
I'm saying is, though, it's like the retractable
woof is on fire.
Roof.
We don't need no water.
Plus there'd be it's cold. You get it open, or it stops halfway. It's so cold, or it's stuck open. Then anyway,
hook a John Deere onto it and tow it open. I don't know.
Well, I almost feel though that because the snow's bad, and you don't want to slip and fall. But Arrowhead at -34 Fahrenheit,
insane.
They should not be playing in that. And the fact no one got frostbite is insane.
Well, how about the hit on Patrick Mahomes by the defender? And I can't remember who hit him. If for those that didn't see the game, again, -34 Fahrenheit, which last time I checked, that's pretty close to where the Celsius and the Fahrenheit scales meet.
-40.
Right. So really cold. Patrick Mahomes took a hit and there was a glance to the helmet and it cracked and shattered part of his helmet, which is supposed to be the protective device that saves the guy's melon. If it's that cold, it's damaging your equipment. Probably shouldn't be playing football. But this is the NFL, and men are men. That's why they didn't have sleeves. 90% of those guys on that field that were Kansas City Chiefs players, all the Miami Dolphin guys pretty much had sleeves on. But men, I can play in t-shirt.
That's insane.
I can stand in the stands with a C on my chest.
I don't know. And that was the thing that I made the comment. Like, I would the expense to go to a game like that, and those be the conditions that I have to view it in, I would be miserable.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely miserable.
Yeah, I would hate my life. I went to I went to a Barcelona game at Camp Nou, and it was awesome. It was in November in Barcelona, and so we're up and not clearly not expecting it to be chilly, and where we were on like the sidewalk at road level, it wasn't cold. But then when we got up into the stadium, and like our tickets were way out.
And that is a huge stadium. It is high up.
It's 100,000
steep,
people,
right?
Right, and it's steep, and every section is like walled off, so you can't. Like, normally you would like jump a section and try to get to like a closer spot, so you're like sheltered a little bit more. And it was a friendly, so it wasn't packed by any means. And we stayed for like the first 30 minutes of the first half, and it was way too cold, like turning blue, shivering. Like, no, we're out of here. And like, that's in Spain. I couldn't imagine, even if you're like fully Carhartted up and you're there with your boots and you got your pants and you got your jacket, nothing makes me want to stand in one spot drinking cold beer in -35.
No,
like,
not
no,
at all.
thank you.
Not at all. Yeah, just hey. But again, it's the NFL, right? Everyone jokes that Michigan football is a cult. The entire NFL is a cult, right? You have fans that dedicate most of their lives to franchises that have absolutely no, meaning to anybody else, or a very small group of people, or for your like Cowboy national team kind of thing, or the Raiders or stuff like that.
Yeah, if all the Cowboys fans are, you can let them know, hey, don't worry, Yankees report in 30 days.
It's a bandwagon joke. So yeah, we want to get into to the picks. To the predictions. Sure. So every year,
should we first do what we think is going to happen with the playoffs here? Because predictions we're going to talk about next year.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let's recap what we predicted last year.
Okay.
All right. So in college basketball, which we fully all admitted that we knew nothing about, Dave went with Kansas, Kevin Kentucky. I picked Purdue, and it was UConn was the winner.
I would never guess UConn. Not on the men's side.
The Huskies.
In the NFL, I did because when we made the predictions, we were down to 4 teams.
Yeah.
I said, okay, let's pick the winner, the loser, and the score.
Yeah.
So Dave went Bengals over Eagles 30-24. I went Bengals over Eagles 2017, and Kevin went Eagles over Bengals 28-21. Well, we all got the Eagles in the Super Bowl correct, and 2 of us picked what they were going to do. But otherwise, no one picked the Chiefs.
Not at all. Would not have.
In the NBA, Kevin went with the Clippers. Dave went with the Heat, who ended up losing the final.
Yeah.
I took the Sacramento Kings, and it was the Denver Nuggets, I believe, that were there. Like, I really had to look up who won college basketball.
Yeah.
In the NHL, Kevin stuck to his guns and went with the Leafs. Dave took the Lightning. I can't remember who I picked, and it was Vegas.
Yeah.
In baseball,
I was just in. I'll get back to it. I was just in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Go on.
In baseball, Kevin went with the Jays, Dave the Dodgers. I picked the Phillies. Nobody picked the Rangers, who ultimately won.
I totally forgot that they won.
Yeah, nobody saw that coming though.
No. And then since there was no election last year in any capacity, we were queried. You were queried. We were queried as to whether or not we thought there'd be a federal one, which you guys said no. Those were the only 2 correct answers we got. And I said yes. So
Kevin and Dave won. Steve,
all right.
nada.
So do we want to make our predictions now, or do we want to segue into Vegas and come back to these?
So I was in. I got the unique opportunity to attend CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas last week, and oh my gosh! So
it's like at Nerd Toyland.
Well, it is everything you ever thought of for any kind of technology or electronics or gadget or life improving thing known to humans, and this is the bleeding edge, right? This is everything that's innovative, and CES shows kind of over the years gained this popularity for being the place to debut all of these revolutionary technologies. So I work in the automotive industry, and me and my group of coworkers decided that since all the automotive car shows have kind of gone by the wayside, and most of those car companies and most of those the other supporting companies are starting to use CES as a platform to debut their new technologies, it would be beneficial for us to go. And I knew that this was a big ordeal, and I've been to other large trade shows in Las Vegas for the automotive industry. I've been to SEMA, which is the big automotive aftermarket, but for one that was unrelated to my specific kind of realm of work, just wild. So we got unofficial totals that there was about 125,000 registrants, and before the show, that's down from what it's been usually, but it's 4.5 million square feet of floor space spread out between the Las Vegas Convention Center and the Venetian Hotel and a couple other little satellite locations. I say little, but it's like a 250,000 square foot room.
It's insane.
Little. So the first day it was 9 to 5, and we covered essentially one floor of one building. There was that much innovation to see. So everything from AI to incorporating new technologies into cars, ways to improve your life, things like health monitoring systems, like the technologies that, it might not be specifically relevant right now, but this is where every innovation and everything is kind of trending towards. So some overall trends for the show, we're going to see a lot more AI and a lot more integration in the healthcare kind of industry. So monitoring of individuals that are getting on in age that may be susceptible to injury and or medical conditions will have monitors or sentinels or things like that are standing by in case of an emergency, right? It can indicate that, hey, instead of relying on I fell and I got to pick up the phone and call 911. No, there's something that's there doing that, watching me, kind of thing, which is wild, right?
Scary.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, trust me, for all those Terminator fans, Skynet's coming. And I'm not trying.
That's basically iRobot.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Where's Will Smith to save us?
Yeah.
But that was one trend. Television technology. So I'm not a huge TV tech guy, right? Like the screen looks good. I'm happy with it. LG was debuting transparent, clear, wireless 4K televisions. So what I mean by that is it's a screen like this, but it's clear.
So you could see the wall.
So you can see the wall behind you. And then when the picture comes on, either the back goes black and then the picture is displayed on a black background, or it doesn't go black and you can still see through it, but the picture is displayed on this. And it's wireless.
Insane.
And it's 4K. So walking around the trade show floor, we're like, holy cow, you see something and then you try to focus on it and then you catch something out of your eye and then, oh my gosh, what's that? Like then there was another manufacturer that had a similar kind of clear monitor, but then it was a 3D image that came off of the screen. So like just wild stuff.
Like 3D image, no glasses.
No glasses.
No.
Yeah, no glass. It's the image stayed within obviously the confinement, but it came out at you to a certain extent kind of thing. So like these are just tip of the iceberg kind of stuff. Like just incredible. I tried on a pair of actually a couple of different pairs of smart glasses, like to say the least. Ray-Ban is making one that's a full multimedia. You can make calls and whatever, and it doesn't look any different than the frame size of, our glasses kind of thing. So you wouldn't know that it's a smart pair. Whereas, the ones that they've already kind of brought out are very thick.
Yeah, the Google ones.
Yeah, but it's also got that bone conduction speaker in the back. So you can have full audio and record video and do that. Another section of the thing is gaming technology. It's all the innovation in computers for gaming, because gaming is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I tried on another pair of glasses in this area, and again, you wouldn't know it was a smart pair of glasses until you hit a button on the side, and then all of a sudden, screens appear in front of your eyes, and you can still see, you can still act, you can still do what you're doing, but you're looking at a computer screen, and it's not obstructive, and it is weird, like wild and weird to just kind of experience some of these little things.
So it sounds so scary.
It like that, and that was one of the conversations that we'd had post, going through parts of the show was, at what point in time does this kind of technology just snowball to the point where it's going and we don't even have a chance to kind of stop it if it goes in a bad direction? It's so, like, all the healthcare stuff was really what kind of was just the amount of data that they can monitor. There was another one. It was actually a Canadian company. They had a pair of glasses that had an infrared sensor that was tracking your eye movements. So if you did, a high stress level job, or if you were, operating some heavy equipment or something like that, you could wear these glasses and it would look at your eyes and start to measure the sensitivity and your awareness and your alertness, so that, hey, unbeknownst to you, because you're just doing your job, blah, 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 you might be beyond fatigue to the point where you can't do that job anymore. And in a normal circumstance, you just carry on and like, oh, shoot, I smacked the bucket into Terry because, I wasn't paying attention. The glasses will alert you.
Wow.
So, I talked to them for a little while, but like e-bikes and different types of car technology and smart vacuums and everything technologically kind of touching. There was 50 companies there that had their version of stuff. And like I said, you could start to see some trends, but over the course of the time that I was there, I think I covered 30% of the 4.5 million square feet. So, if anybody is curious, I'm sure you've already seen on YouTube some of the coverage that people do from CES. There's tons of it. Just if you're interested in finding out what's happening in a certain kind of area, like I said, healthcare, fintech, right? Like finance tech, which is like, like this stuff, like even with money kind of thing. Like it's wild. It's crazy just to see. So
the robot, like just hanging out in my house to pick me up when I'm falling down.
Yeah. Well, there's
that one kind of freaks me out.
So there's also, while we're walking the trade show floor, I heard like a animal noise, and I look over, and there's this little. It looked like a futuristic Japanese animal, and it was orange, and there was another one that was yellow, and it had these little animal faces, and they were made to be children's companions to play with them. So, and it's walking along the floor and interacting with humans like there's nothing. As people started dancing with it, kind of thing. Just like, oh my gosh, my kids' friends are being replaced now with robots. It's just
we'll need pets.
scary. It was wild, and it was natural the way it interacted with you. And that was the most astonishing part was just.
Did they have an adult version? Like I would take one.
Of course they do.
It wouldn't even need legs. Like just sit on the couch beside me and be like, hey, that's cool. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. You want to see that again? No.
Hey, did you see this video? Oh, that's a funny video. Thanks, man.
Yeah. No, you want some chips?
That'd be a great way to boost our membership.
Oh yeah.
We got a few of those.
Yeah, bots, androids. But yeah, I'm grateful. I'm thankful. It was an experience that I don't think, if I wasn't in the special, unique position that I am in the industry that I'm in, I would have been able to go to. And the advice that I give, or I've given to people that I've talked to about it, is if you do get an opportunity to go, do your homework and plan, because I didn't do enough and I didn't get to see as much as I could because it's just that much stuff.
It's one of the, like, I would love to go to it once. Like, I just love to go to it once. Yeah.
I'm not going back.
That and Comic-Con in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are the two I think would be really cool to go to.
Yeah, no, it's just if you're a techie, if you've got any interest in where the evolution of, the way we act, the way we interact with electronics, the innovation, it's the place. And it's just crazy.
Did you hear that the auto show in Detroit's going back to January?
I did, but I also, that doesn't mean all the car companies are going to come back.
No.
It's just, and that's what's happened, right? Car companies, the Super Bowl is coming up in about a month. And most of the car companies have pulled out of advertising for the Super Bowl, which traditionally was funded by Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and car companies. They would always have big commercials.
Remember that the one with Sam Elliott voicing? It was like a minute or a minute and a half that Chrysler did a few years ago.
$6 or $8 million worth of ad space.
But we were talking about it actually on the weekend, and it's one of those ads. And the person I was talking to about it was a former Chrysler employee, and they were saying, we were so mad at the plant when they did it, because we were in the middle of taking less money per hour, and we were upset, like, you can go spend $8 million on an ad, but you can't give us an extra $1 an hour. And I said to the person like that, I get it, but we're here 5 years later and talking about the ad.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
And people don't understand the gravity of marketing, right? Marketing is a tool used for brand recognition. And it's not necessarily just in the moment. Like, what was the Budweiser ad campaign when we were teenagers?
The Clydesdales.
Well, that's been the ad campaign for eternity.
Oh, the
Three Frogs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Budweiser. Right. Or, we remember Cindy Crawford and the Pepsi, right? Sorry, we're going back a ways, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's like I still remember
or
that.
Britney after, or Michael Jackson with Pepsi,
right?
Remember the I Am Canadian, mostly Canadian commercials.
Yeah.
There are some, or the Old Spice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like there are some iconic ones, and it's in marketing we call it TOMA. Top of mind awareness.
Oh yeah. That's
and the idea is you want to have every interaction, or any time you want someone to make an action on something, you need 10 touches before they'll make an action.
Yep.
But usually the first 6 of those is some kind of general branding. So like that Chrysler ad, or like Cindy Crawford, or the Frogs. Like, they're actually trying to sell you anything other than, hey, when you're there, remember Bud Light.
right. Well, I think the biggest one for that is Geico, right?
Yes.
Geico did not sell insurance. It sold a gecko. It sold cavemen, and however many countless different ad campaigns.
Or Flow from Progressive.
Flow from Progressive. Yeah.
The What's Up guys.
What's that?
Yes.
Right. Like, I get it. The what was it? Hundreds of millions of people watch the Super Bowl every year. It's weird to have this year see no car companies, or very little car companies, I should say. I'm not sure which ones. I think General Motors pulled. I believe so, but yeah, it's going to be different.
So what football teams are we going to see?
Are we going to do the 2024 That Kingsville Podcast season 4 predictions?
Got a few here too. So let's start with the one we know least about, college basketball.
What?
I did.
I just teed up football. We're going to talk about college. All right.
Oh yeah, I'm going.
No, let's do it. All right.
I know you teed up football, but
College basketball.
Okay.
I cheated. I had to look to see who the top ranked
Gonzaga.
teams were. All right.
The Zags.
I was waiting for somebody was going to say Gonzaga.
I'm gonna take Kentucky with absolutely no comprehension. Just why not?
I'm going to go Purdue again. And like it,
Boilermakers.
NBA.
Hey, will Michigan even make the tournament?
No.
They're even close now, right? Aren't they? No, yeah.
No,
I don't even know how Michigan State are doing. Michigan State are doing okay.
Yeah,
But they're
is Izzo still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
NBA.
National Basketball Association.
Yeah.
Teams. Basketball.
I'm gonna
The Bucks.
That's who I just wrote down.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
I was like Giannis.
I'm gonna say Denver's gonna repeat.
Denver.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball.
Dodgers.
Oh, you're going all in on Ohtani, eh?
Wow.
Yeah,
and,
they bought-
and like they basically got every player.
Yeah, they bought everybody.
Yeah, but last year we sat around this table
I know.
and said, "Oh, the Mets." No one actually picked the Mets,
And the Mets dealt everybody.
I know it was an absolute dumpster fire. Anyway,
Scherzer
I've written
and
down the
Verlander.
Dodgers.
Yeah.
Kevin's got the Dodgers. Dave, you want to divert from the Dodgers, or you want to kind of?
No, I'm going to pick. Major League Baseball. Well, let's go with Texas, right? Because obviously they had somebody who could field. And I haven't heard anybody leaving Texas. Like Yu Darvish is still there, right?
Yeah, Scherzer's there.
Scherzer's there.
He's older though.
He's still
Doesn't seem to matter for him.
Still
or
dealing,
Verlander.
right?
That's true.
We'll
Verlander's
finish the
done.
last two. Oh no, we've got a lot of sports actually this year. This is going to be fun.
Dun, 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 dun.
National Hockey League.
LHN.
Leafs.
Why? You know this
You
far
can't-
into the season
Yeah, but
that's not
hey,
going to
you
happen.
never know. They're
You never know. If
they're
they
in with a chance.
You say there's a chance.
I'm going to go with who I want to. Well, I'm not. I want the Red Wings to win, but I don't. I'm going to go with the Jets.
Winnipeg.
they got a good team.
Do they?
Yeah, they
they're
do.
first overall.
How are
right
the
now.
Florida teams?
Both are
You
good.
can't pick the Panthers. I won't let you.
Oh, I was just going to say the Panthers. He picked the Pan.
Well, I picked the Lightning last year.
It was the year before you picked the Panthers.
I think I picked the Panthers. I'm picking the Panthers.
Oh.
All right, let's go back to football.
Okay, do we want
Yeah. So at this time of recording, we have the Detroit Lions. The Bills game should be done. So we have the Baltimore Ravens.
Buffalo won
Oh,
31-17.
all right. So we have Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco 49ers. We have the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, the
Philadelphia
Eagles, the
Bucks.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
the
Chiefs, and we got two more to go.
No, one more. Because you said Baltimore, Buffalo, the Chiefs, and the other team in the AFC.
Yeah, who's playing tonight?
No, it's not who's playing tonight. It's who played Saturday. Who beat the Browns?
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, the
Houston Texans. Yeah.
Texans.
Whoa, there's CJ Stroud's sharp.
Nice.
he is.
I know who my pick is.
I'm going to say San Francisco.
Okay.
As much as I am a Lions fan, I think that they've just got everything firing on all cylinders.
I can't see anyone beating the Ravens.
I can.
I don't think so.
Obviously, San Francisco.
I think you're wrong.
Okay,
that's
so
fine.
let's up the ante a little bit like we did last
So what
year.
would you-
I picked Baltimore also.
Okay.
San Francisco over who? Baltimore over who?
San Francisco over Baltimore.
Because I mean, when they
One
met in the
seed.
regular season,
Yeah.
Baltimore crushed them.
So I have a bet going right now that if this happens in the Super Bowl, then I'll win some good money. So I'm going to take the Lions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you bet at the beginning of the season?
No, I bet 3 weeks ago. $25 and I get $1,000.
Well, that's not a bad.
It's not bad. Not a bad
To
parlay,
lose in
right?
the Super Bowl or just make it?
No, make it. Baltimore NFC champ Lions and AFC champ Ravens.
Baltimore. Not
Yeah.
bad. Okay.
I mean, obviously, based on our previous discussion, I really want the Lions there.
Yeah.
But I'm going a little bit out of left field. I'm going to tell you that Detroit will beat Philly or Tampa.
Yep.
Green Bay will win in San Francisco, and Green Bay will break all of our hearts.
Not Mitch Kazmarski's heart, though.
No, Mitch Kazmarski will be elated,
Yeah.
as will Lindsey Walker.
Yeah.
The Packers will beat the Lions for the NFC Championship in Detroit
Yeah.
and then lose to the Ravens.
Hey.
I don't know.
Crazy.
I can see, and it's funny. I'm the one that's taking the Lions. I'm the least Lions fan.
Hey,
but we're still tempered, right? We're elated that this is happening, but we don't want to get too high because
I can see the path. I thought their most going into it. I thought their most difficult game was going to be the Rams.
And I will say this: if San Francisco beat Green Bay and we beat Philly or Tampa, I can see us going to San Francisco. I see us like we're all part of the organization. Right. I can see us going to San Francisco and winning.
So who are you going to fly? Southwest?
Don't Spirit.
No, I'm actually not going to California till March. So, but yeah, if Green Bay beats San Francisco, I see them getting to the Super Bowl. If San Francisco win, I think there's a path for the Lions.
What an NFC championship that would be.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like
what, Detroit, San Francisco or Detroit, Green Bay?
Detroit, Green Bay would be.
Yeah, the NFC North would be the powerhouse division. Yeah. Like,
well, it's starting to look that way.
And Minnesota, they were very close.
Yeah,
very close.
Cousins got injured, and the Bears came on strong at the end. Like,
yeah, but they'll fall.
At
the Bears.
Sure.
Right. Bears.
Keep Justin Fields.
It's
a huge mistake for them.
Yeah.
So we do have two more sports categories. We'll come back to them. So federal election.
Yes,
we know there's a provincial election in 2025. There's no municipal election. The only thing potential we have this year is federal. Dave's saying yes.
Yes.
I'm saying no.
Okay, I'm going to say yes based on the fact that I thought there'd be one last year. So
the only way is, or the only reason why is there's an American election as well, and everybody's going to be politically charged up. So
yeah, but I don't think they have the numbers.
Well, they probably don't, but who knows? We'll see.
So then let's go to the U.S. election, which we know is happening.
Yeah, but we don't know the candidates yet. You can say Republican or
Biden.
Yeah.
Maybe Biden.
Maybe. He's 82.
Yeah.
Is he 82? No, he's 70.
No, he's like 80 or 81, I think.
Yeah, he's in his 80s,
really
I'm pretty
80?
sure. And Trump's not that far behind.
No, Trump's around 78.
Yeah.
Are they that old?
And here's the thing, like, I mean, we can try and be bold and say, okay, Trump will beat Biden, or Biden will beat Trump, or Haley will beat
81. Joe Biden is 81 years old. The president of the United States is 81.
Right, because they said at the end of his if he does 2 terms, he'll be 86 at the end.
So,
like, I mean, most people want to retire in their late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
And the leader of the free world in some people's eyes will be 86.
That's insane. I don't know. I'm going to say Democrat because they're in power now, and usually it's a 2-term event, right? And it was only because it was very polarizing last time a Republican was in power that, caused that whole rigmarole, but I suppose that's still prevalent. So,
well, I guess the second Bush do 2 terms?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Obama did 2, Bush did 2, Trump did 1.
Clinton did 2. Reagan did 2. Oh,
George,
first Bush.
George did 1.
Yes,
he did 1.
He did 1. Mm-hmm. Okay.
HB.
Right. Well, we don't really need to make predictions. We'll just leave that alone. It is a Euro Cup year.
The Euros.
Is that soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know any. Is it countries?
Yep.
Okay. Argentina.
No.
Euro.
Oh, Euro. Yeah.
European.
I don't know. Soccer.
You know geography, though.
I do, but not that well, apparently. Go ahead. Italy.
Oh, Croatia.
Ooh.
Did they qualify?
I don't know.
I think they did.
Slovakia. Can I take? I'll take one of the Eastern Bloc.
Romania.
Hungary. Not Hungary. I don't take Hungary.
Czechia.
Kosovo. Can I take Kosovo?
I don't think they qualified.
They didn't qualify.
We'll just go with the original pick.
How about Bosnia and Herzegovina?
No.
Montenegro.
Anyway. It is also a Summer Olympic year.
Who'd you take?
Yeah.
I took England.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
I could have answered that.
It's a Summer Olympic year.
Summer Olympics.
Any predictions? Canadian medal count? Where are most of our medals coming from? Will we have more gold than silver, or silver than bronze, or bronze than any other?
I mean, okay, if we're doing all of them, I'm going to say most of our medals are coming in the pool. And I'm going to say more silver. I can't remember medal counts for Summer Olympics. What's a good medal count for us?
28, 32.
Like 30? Is that
I don't-
Yeah, they're low.
average?
Canada's low.
I think so.
for
Yeah. I mean, the U.S.
Yeah.
usually halts in about 200.
Yeah.
China about 180 or 70 or
Russia,
100.
when they're allowed to compete, is
Yeah.
usually up there. Are they allowed to compete this
No.
time around?
No.
I think
Oh,
their
did they
athlete-
do something
No.
on a national?
No, I think their athletes may be allowed to compete, but not under.
Independent.
Of
Yeah.
course. Like that isn't Russia. Like it is the
Right.
independent. What would they call it in the last Winter Olympics? The athletes formerly from.
Yeah, but I think they changed it again. Like I think
Yeah,
they've
it changes
distanced
all the
them
time.
even more.
'Cause they were found to be cheating. And
Right.
They're like, oh no, we're totally not that group of Russian athletes that are competing not
and
for
then
Russia.
found they were all still cheating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say pool. Let's say over under 30 medals. Does that?
Okay, that
Yeah, that's
works.
fair.
That works.
I'm gonna say over. I think we're gonna have a good Summer Olympics.
I'm gonna say track and field. And
Okay.
I'm gonna say under 30.
Actually, well, I was going to be a dink and just say 30.
Well,
All right,
But
30 and a half.
that's what I meant. So
Yeah,
I was, no.
30 and a half.
I'll go under 30, and I was going to say most the medals will come in track and field. Last one. Any bold predictions for the town of Kingsville in 2024? And no is an acceptable answer.
Bold predictions.
Bold predictions.
Like, don't turn around and say, yes, the town will pave the lower bowl of Lakeside Park. I'll shoot my pen at you.
We will have at least one more storm that causes utter chaos in the town of Kingsville in the summertime.
I'm gonna say a group of people will be profoundly upset with what is now the not open streets now.
Oh,
What is
the
it?
block party.
The block party.
Why is it? Because you already know that I'm profoundly upset about that, and we haven't discussed it yet. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's going to be, you know how Kingsville like has those trigger events, it just like there's certain decisions and certain things that just for some reason just trigger people. I think
buildings.
buildings, like specific addresses.
Mm.
I think that's one of them that's going to trigger people.
I'll stick with the school name controversy and suggest that the school board will present something which will cause great controversy.
And you have inside knowledge
division.
on that because you're a part of it.
No, I don't because I don't know what's going on
No, we
behind the
don't
scenes
know
with the
yet.
school board. But I'm just saying that's okay. Maybe that's not a bold prediction, but you know, the naming.
We better
what
not be the Harriers. Is all you're saying.
Dude, are you going to say that there's going to be a real flap about it?
Wow.
Thanks. That was.
I got
Yeah.
the one.
We got to the end of the episode.
I got the
I was
one.
going to say like this could take a real nosedive. Is that what you're suggesting?
Thank you, Gary Glass.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, yeah, I will just. You mentioned storms,
Yeah.
and I will say that I am pleasantly pleased that with all the wind we've had the last couple of days, the power stayed on.
Correct. Yeah, surprising.
I think it should be noted.
And I don't know if that's infrastructure or if anything was done or
They did a lot of tree trimming.
or we just
which
got
helps.
lucky. Yeah, but
Sure.
you're absolutely right. EOK, or if there is any credit to be given, then yeah, you're correct. I got gas for the generator because I was like, oh, we're negative 1,000 degrees and sustained winds of 100K an hour or
and
more.
it was powerful.
So, quick story, me coming back from Vegas, right? I flew into Las Vegas during that Toronto snowstorm on the Tuesday.
Okay.
So I have a coworker with me, and we flew out of Detroit. And then there were two coworkers of mine that flew out of Toronto. So going down to Detroit, we were on time. We landed scheduled because the storm was just rain in Detroit. But in Toronto, it was mixed precipitation. Snow followed by rain, followed by snow, followed by, slush. They were 2.5 hours delayed. So I landed local time in Las Vegas at 11. They got in at 2:30 a.m. And then we turned around at 9 a.m. local and we went to this trade show. Flying home on Friday was this start of this storm system. And I know if you're watching this in the future, a big snowstorm happened in, the eastern part of the whole country kind of thing. So we flew out. 1:30 local time in the afternoon, so 4:30 Eastern. We start leaving Vegas. Everything's fine until we get to Detroit. Detroit Metro Airport was closed. So the pilot goes, sorry, folks, Metro Airport's closed, and we don't have enough fuel to just circle, so we're going to O'Hare in Chicago. So we flew from Detroit with whatever fuel was left in the airplane. Last time I checked, Chicago's not next door to Detroit. Quick flight, but still not next door. Flew to Chicago. Landed in Chicago. Sorry, folks. They weren't expecting us, as you might imagine, so we're just going to have to sit here for a while and wait till the gate opens. Gate opens an hour later. Thankfully, they left us on the plane, because if you disembark and go through that ordeal, it just prolongs the episode. Get fuel, get back to Detroit. We landed at 12:30 Eastern. So from 4:30 Eastern to 12:30 Eastern, usually Las Vegas to Detroit's a 4-hour flight. Now, my two coworkers from Toronto, these poor guys, they flew out at the exact same time as us. And they were supposed to land relatively about the same time. However, the entire GTA was closed. There was no way they were landing at Pearson. So they got rerouted to Quebec City. And they landed in Quebec City. Now, mind you, that added hours to their flight time. So they waited in Quebec City. Unfortunately, Pearson didn't reopen, so they couldn't take off. And the flight crew had gone beyond their hours of workable time, right? Because they have those regulations. So they had to get a hotel. So my two workers spent Friday night in Quebec City. And then they had to go back to the airport to fly out Saturday morning or Saturday at some point in time during the day back to Toronto. But the storm was still sustained in Toronto and there was not availability for flights. So then they had to get on a Via train from Quebec City to Toronto.
It's a nice ride.
That's a long ride.
It's a long ride.
It is. It's a nice ride.
I'm sure it is, but that's not like, hop, skip, and a jump on a subway trip. So yeah, they got home, I believe, late Saturday night, early into Sunday morning.
They're lucky it wasn't even worse.
Right.
Like you lived in Belleville, like I lived in Belleville. And that section.
We just admitted it.
Oh, yeah. True. Yeah.
Bay of Quinte was wild.
The snow and ice that comes off the Bay of Quinte is out of control. And
insane.
The Via would get stopped there for hours. Yep. Like I remember I was reporting while I was in college, so college reporting. One day, and I was doing mornings, so I was there at 6 a.m. Via trains were delayed. They didn't start again until I was done my shift, went home, had a bite to eat, went back in for an evening shift, and it's 7:30, and I reported the closure and the reopening at 7:30 p.m. They're shut down for 13 hours.
That's insane. That's crazy.
It's crazy, but that was a way of life out there because the way that it's the opposite of Buffalo. Buffalo gets smashed with snow. At the other end of Lake Ontario, they get smashed with that same front, but it's always just a little bit more wet, and so it's just ice, like coats of ice on everything. I remember the first weekend of me living in that area, and I pulled in. I'm not used to driving in snow, but I didn't realize the ice effect and the underlying danger and what was up there. And I came into an intersection, just hit the brakes, not overcooking it or anything like that, and I did a pirouette in the middle of the intersection and screamed because I've never hit black ice like that before. Yeah, right. The roads were plowed. It wasn't that it was like just it was just. I had a 1994 Dodge Neon, like the OG Neon, the OG Neon, and with like the brown or the gray bumpers, plastic bumper. Jen had one. Oh, the worst car, but thankfully it got written off extremely slowly because I was in Belleville. I go through the intersection and then I see that there's a truck, like probably an 80 something 4x4 Chev in front of me. And like a solid vehicle, and I see it, so I hit the brakes, and I'm like just going, and I was probably driving like 40, and I hit the brakes, and I'm just skating along, and I just slowly come into the back of the truck and just watch my bumper and whole car just very nice and gingerly just crumple into a mass of steel. And then like the gauge, like the rear window defrost like pops out of the dash, like nice and slow, and then my airbag goes off.
Oh, yeah.
It's like whoa, like oh, like, that really hurt my face.
I was just gonna say broke your glasses.
Yeah, and so, but that's a way of life.
Yeah.
There, those guys, the fact that they're able to get through, that's luck.
Yeah.
That's luck.
Oh,
Well, it's not luck because they were, a day and a half late, but they could have.
but they got out, right? They got out, and we said the same thing. Like the group of travelers with me, and the little detour to Chicago and whatnot. It was the far worse things were happening in the country than that, right? So Buffalo.
Well, and they were coming back from getting a warning of what's going to happen in the downfall of society. So that was a nice prelude.
Watch out for the Sentinels. They're
Look out for the Sentinels.
Well,
Hopefully
here
Wolverine's by.
Yeah, that's an X-Men reference for all you.
Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's a nice X-Men cartoon reference.
Okay.
Geeks.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2024. Thanks for joining us on the first episode of season 4 of That Kingsville Podcast. Yeah, we're still here. As we've said in the last few times, thanks for listening, subscribing. Tell everybody. Tell your parents. Tell everybody.
Tell your dog.
Tell your dog. Yeah, dogs listen
Tell
too.
your animatronic companion.
Cyborg. Sentinel.
tell Jimmy in the corner that's just waiting for you to fall.
Oh, Dave. What was it? Dave, you can't do that, Dave. No.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. That's good. I like that one.
Thanks for joining us on That Kingsville Podcast.
Hey, do you think that the Sentinels would ever just, if they're bored, like just go and push you over so they can pick you up? Probably.
Well, segueing. Anyway, I'm not getting into it, but we'll talk about it on camera. There was some crazy kind of two side there. Anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks for sharing, like, and subscribe. Tune in next time for more of this and fun.
Just a little
nudge.